All right. Hello, everyone. This is Nancy Rebecca. I am live again on YouTube and the Blue Light Movement page. Apologies for some reason, had a little bit of a glitch. So I'm having to completely shift over to a new streaming setup. So it's not something that I do all the time. So I hope that you can pop on and let me know that you can hear me and see me. And if you can pop on Facebook to let me know, as well as YouTube, I would really appreciate it. So today I'm going to be talking about the Hopi prophecy, and I'm also going to be talking about the significance of the Blue Star Kachina based on knowledge that I looked up on the internet that all of you can look up. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. And also based on my own information of working with the blue light all of these years and the prophetic vision that I had back in 2017 that talks about this great time of awakening that we're living on in the face of the planet. So yeah, we've already got 19 of you popping on, and thank you so much, Facebook user, for letting me know that it is also now working on the Facebook page. So just to tell you a little bit about me, if you are not familiar with me, sometimes I forget when I see your names and I know you have all known me for 20 years, but I've been had an out-of-body experience back in 1994. I became suddenly sighted. So what does that mean? That means I was minding my own business. I was a mother. I was a wife. I was working full-time as a hospice nurse. And I was having a lot of stress. I had family members that were also very ill. And then I got a book on meditation to help me de-stress. And kind of what happened was I kind of popped out of my body and I had an out-of-body experience. When I came back into my body, suddenly I could see the entire spiritual world at the same time I see the human world. And in almost 30 years, in 2024, it'll be 30 years, that has not changed for me. So in the beginning, yeah, I thought that I was really crazy. So fortunately, my parents convinced me that I was not. However, I've learned how to grow into those shoes. They were far too big for me to fit my feet in, but I have grown in those very comfortably. So I'm just going to now leap from there. And then I'm just going to do a really brief review as you're all kind of coming in. So you can read more about it going to intuitivemind.org, click on blog, and then click on Blue Light Movement and get a lot more information, especially if you're new to this on YouTube. Blue Light people on Facebook have been following me for a while around this. So I had star beings come to visit me. I did not know star beings existed. So I just want to start there. It was quite the surprise because I could see them. And then from there, the blue star beings told me to go to China. I would find out the answers in China, of all places. I did go to China. I went to a specific place. I was going all over the place trying to find out. I assumed the blue star beings would make it really obvious for me about the blue star, but that didn't turn out to be true. But that's in the story of my blog. But there was a blue, like a lightning bolt that came down from the sky, the cosmos, came into my crown chakra, completely filled up my chakras. And next thing you know, I'm in a full blown vision as if I'm actually there. And in that vision, you can call it a prophecy, you can call it a dream, you can call it crazy. But I was told there would be three main very significant events that would be coming up. So this was 2017. The first one would surge through in 2019, the second one in 2021, and the third one, which is this year, is in 2023. I was told that there would be a mass awakening on the face of the planet. All of humanity would be going through a spiritual awakening. All right. and that the blue light would be coming through from the cosmos, from the celestial realms. And that was about all that I knew. So for all of you who've been on this journey with me this whole time, it's been rather exciting. So I was told the first one would be in Xi'an, China. It was. The second one would be in Teotihuacan, Mexico. It was. And then I was told that it would come through in the southwest of the United States through the pyramids there. And that's when I responded and said, but you've made a mistake because there's no pyramids there. So what the blue beings of light, what they say, this is distilled in a nutshell. What has been hidden will be revealed. All illusion will dissolve and truth will be illuminated. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. And I would say no matter what's happened with the blue light, that has been the consistent message. There's been a lot, hasn't there, in the last 6 years, a lot that's been revealed, and we're not done yet because most of us focus on the physical world and the changes we see in the physical world, and in that time we've had COVID, we've had corruption, we've had all kinds of things. But what most of us don't focus on is the spiritual realm and the frequency realm. And that's what I'm always talking about here when we have these one-sided conversations, but fortunately I'm telepathic as well, so I can kind of pick up on the waves that you're sending back to me. And we do really on these calls, I can feel that synchronistic flow between the two of us. So I know that you can hear what I'm saying, and with me and like me, we don't totally know what's going to happen. So when it was revealed to me that in the Southwest that there is a place, I've always known about the Hopi indigenous peoples, the ancient peoples. I haven't known a lot about them other than this mystical aspect from my perspective, that they were, some of the oldest tribes on the face of the planet. That I always kind of knew from a young girl. But when it was revealed that there are 3 mesas in Hopi Land, and that those 3 mesas are aligned with Orion's belt and the planet Sirius, then I knew that that's what the star beings were talking about in reference to the pyramids, that kind of called these 3 mesas the pyramids. They are perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. And there is a book called The Orion Zone. I think the last name of the author is David. So if anybody can pick up that link and put it in the post here, that would be awesome. But I have a lot to talk about. So let's just kind of jump in. Let me just look at the notes really quick, see if I'm missing anything. Good morning, everybody. Nice. Pat, you're saying, good morning, tried Facebook, couldn't find you. Right, so Pat, it wasn't showing up on Facebook. It wasn't showing up on the blue light page. So I needed to completely let go of the link that I had, and I had to completely create a new one. So be impressed that I was able to rapidly create a new one. So I just want to say about the Hopi prophecy. First of all, I'm not Hopi. Second of all, I don't have direct permission from the Hopi people to talk about their prophecies. So I want to acknowledge that first and foremost. And I just want to offer total respect and honor to the prophecies, and that just to say, again, the material I'm going to share with you today is material that other people have written about with their connections with the Hopi people, but I cannot claim that this is true or not true. But what I can say is I will let you know what I can speak to, what I know to be true. And what I know to be true is the blue light, Orion's belt, the blue star beings talking about this great time of change. I know we had an enormous change in 2019, in 2021, and this is supposed to be the last, final, biggest surge in all of humanity in thousands of years. So this is what they tell me, that it's going to be big. And are you going to be totally aware of it? You might, and you might not. That's the beauty about spiritual work, that it can unfold easily and effortlessly, or it can shake your world upside down. But either way, it's good. There's this good, beautiful frequency that's coming through. So let me just talk about the prophecy. And I have to tell you, I didn't know how significant this prophecy was until I've been meditating on it. But when I went to look it up, knowing I was going to talk about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I could have read this in 2017 and it might have helped me out a lot. So Jennifer Radovich is on the call today. So I just want to let you know that Jennifer Radovich literally went by herself, has never gone anywhere by herself before. She went to Arizona. She was able to visit the Mesas, and she was able to bring me a Kachina, little Kachina doll from there. So this is the face of the Kachina, the Blue Kachina. All right, let's go. All right. So let me talk about the Hopi prophecy as it has been. I don't know how old it is. I do know that when I was looking it up, there is an author, Jason Colavito, who investigated the prophecy and could only find written reference to it that's going back to the early 1940s, 1950s. However, they didn't have the written prophecy before that, but they do have cave wall etchings that talk about the prophecies. And those you can actually find on YouTube. So you can look those up on YouTube and actually get to see them, and you can watch the elders describing this great time that we're living in. All right, let's hop in here. Oh, Lena, awesome. You're going to be going to the Mesas in November. Well, we'll have to get the blow-by-blow from you, who will be boots on the ground. Okay. So the Hopi people, if you've not heard of them before, it's H-O-P-I. There's lots of books about them. They're a Native American peoples, indigenous peoples known for their spiritual teachings and prophecies. Their belief is in a cyclical world. So what that means is there's a lot of information about the cycle of the 26,000 year cycle, which is a Mayan cycle. And within that 26,000 years, there are smaller cycles of about 5,000 years apiece. And they go from we're living in the dark ages and we're heading into the golden ages, according to that cyclic pattern of the indigenous peoples. All right. So the prophecy of the Blue Kachina speaks as a series of signs that when the Blue Star Kachina appears, that will be an indicator that we are moving through the fourth cycle into the fifth cycle. But according to the Hopi prophecy that I have written down, is that they call them worlds. So they're talking about different phases of worlds. We are currently living in the fourth world, and that we are about ready to shift into the fifth world. So the very first sign of this fourth world prophecy said that the white men would come, the white-skinned men, bringing their technology. So that was the very first part of the prophecy. Then the second part, they were shown a vision. And see, the way that I vision and get information is through symbolic meaning. So spirit will show me in the energy world. I will see that it dropped right in front of me. I will see an image, and then it goes through my interpretation based on my clarity, crystal clear clarity, and ability to get the interpretation from spirit. But again, I could be having a cloudy day and not be so accurate. But anyway, the spinning wheel was shown, and they see that as the rapid advancement of technology. So we're already there, right? Third sign, covered land. They were shown snakes snaking across the land. That was the railroad. And then they were shown also stone trails, which we now know as asphalt highways. So the spread of infrastructure and human expansion. Okay, unveiling the false gourd of ashes. It speaks about ashes falling from the sky, about fires. We're having a lot of fires right now, but it's also can be interpreted by some as nuclear war and its aftermath. The emergence of the true white brother. I found this quite interesting. The sixth sign involves the emergence of a true white brother who will bring about peace and spiritual understanding. I love this, of course, anything blue. The seventh sign is the blue planet. I mean, this just kind of blew my mind because I was secretly talking to only my friends about this information that I was getting, and now to find out that the indigenous peoples have been talking about this for a very long time. A sign of the appearance of the blue planet. Now they're interpreting it as a potential comet. This is a sign that purification is coming and a call for humanity to return to your spiritual principles. Eighth sign, trees dying from the top down, representing ecological imbalances. The ninth sign is the birth of the white buffalo. So you can definitely look up the white buffalo. I have to tell you, I can't even remember. I think I was in my 20s when I heard that there was a white buffalo that was born. And I remember there was a lot of excitement around it. I was in my 20s, so I probably had a nanosecond of attention on it. But many, many more white buffaloes have been born since then. So that is an indicator. It's highly sacred, signifies that we are entering into a time of healing and renewal. So even though it seems like it's been pretty disastrous, underneath it all, there's been a lot of healing and a lot of renewal. And that's where we really need to keep our focus as well. The river's turning black, representing environmental degrading and pollution. 11, animals disappearing, about ecological distress and imbalance. The land cracking open is the 12th sign, is about environmental upheaval and human disregard for Earth. And where, if you've been following me, I've been talking about this the last good month for sure, about the separation of the ways. This is where suddenly I could see, yeah, we can see in the last 6 years that we are divided as a country here in the United States. However, this division, I have really felt it like almost like there's this cavern of divide between one side of the way that people think and believe, and then this other side. So they're talking about the 13th sign is the separation of the ways, is the final sign that marks the choice between two paths. One path is materialism and destruction, and the other is spiritual and harmony. And the notes here say, my note wrote, a critical moment for humanity. Someone posting that your grandfather grew up with white medicine in the land, Flathead, Montana. Yeah, so this is a time right now where we are choosing our path. So I put a little note in here because one of the things, the way that I work is there's always a global perspective. It's hard for me to read the can or the box in the grocery store to see all the ingredients or see if it has sugar in the box and all of that stuff. It's like for me to kind of bring my focus down to a little tiny label is like trying to lift 300 pounds of weight. It's a challenge for me because I was born under the stars that are group stars, community stars, just massive, seeing things at a global level. So just to let you know, that's the perspective that I'm coming from. But I was thinking this morning as I saw my sweet, sweet little chocolate lab puppy who's 9 months old, I get it. I would like to play with Sadie days on end and just focus on Sadie and focus on my grandkids and just focus on making tomato pies and all of that stuff. But there is a grand movement happening right here. So we need to do those things, yes, but just because the unseen world is unseen doesn't mean that we can't take moments every day to make sure that we feed our spiritual side as well. Okay. So, okay, let me talk about kivas, because a lot of you were asking questions about kivas. Again, I am not Hopi. I really do not have direct permission, and I did not hear this directly from a Hopi, the Hopi peoples. So I just want to pay honor and respect and just know what I know. But what I do know is my work as a Sangoma, as a traditional medicine woman initiated in South Africa. They have very similar round rooms. And so I have that direct experience. So kivas. So a kiva, it is a round room and it is under the ground. It is dug down into the ground and it's built deeply into the ground, and that you go into this using a ladder. Now, I don't know if kiva is a Hopi word or if it's a white language word, but it means a round room, and it just means a round room. And so what it can mean is it's the kitchen or it can be a bedroom, but it's a kiva style building. So that's not what really makes it sacred, although we kind of think about kivas as associated with sacred and spiritual. But if you want to go with the literal sense, it means a round room. But in the kiva, in the reference that we're kind of talking about now, the prophecy is, and the ancient stories are, that there were big changes between worlds, and the Hopi people needed, or the star beings helped them create an underground world that they could live in and be safe. So whether it was earthquakes or fires or the great flood, that they would survive. Then it was the Blue Star beings, that would let them know when it was time to come to the surface. And so that's kind of that sense of kind of coming back from underground, coming back and walking the surface of the earth again, that it would be safe to do that. But they use this place as a place for community gathering. It's a spiritual focus. It is the place of their ancestors where they can connect with the ancestors, and it's where they do their sacred ceremonies. However, there is this little opening in the top, and my friend who's an indigenous elder who was just staying at my house shared with me that then it is, when you look up through the sky, that's where the dog star is. So I just got that vision last week, and I came down and asked him, do you know what the blue star is? And he said, yes, of course. Or the dog star. What's the dog star? Yes, of course. That's the planet Sirius. And so then I asked another indigenous local person, I said, are you familiar with the dog star? And she got the biggest smile on her face. And she said, well, of course, that's the planet Sirius. It is our most sacred star of all the indigenous peoples. So just put that as a little feather in your hat to say, I know what the dog star is. Okay. So you can see the cosmos through the hole, and you can see the planet Sirius. Okay. So purification and renewal. So it is a sacred place for purification, renewal, spiritual center. It is designed to hold symbolic meaning towards the cardinal directions, ceremonial practices involving dancing and prayers, the time when they would bring their sacred objects out, and the Kachina's traditions in the Hopi cosmology. The kiva ceremonies are tightly held to the Kachina, the Blue Star Kachina traditions, where mass dancers, they will do these ceremonies several times a year. So again, it's just about where you will go to renew, purify. You'll go into that sacred place. It is like going underneath and then coming up and out to the surface of the earth, which is your spiritual, it's like you're in your body, you're deeply in your body, and now you're spiritually expanding and awakening to the surface of the earth. So it has great symbolic meaning. And it is a way to bring communities together. But so in South Africa, the round hut, it is known as the sacred place. So traditionally, when I used to live in South Africa in the year 2023, you would see a lot of these round ceremonial ancestral buildings, and only the ancestors lived there. So they would have round buildings where the family lives. They might have a kitchen. They may have other different round rooms that mean different things. But the main sacred building is the home of the ancestors. And so in the Zulu tradition, they have the ancestral pots. So these are clay pots that are made in a specific way. And you have one pot for each ancestor. And so they would go and honor and sit in front of those pots to talk to their ancestors. But in all of the ceremonies, like for me, when I went through the ceremony where I got my cloth and my beads, that's 3 nights of drumming and dancing and praying and talking to the ancestors. All that gets really seeped into the walls. So every time you go in there, it's a spiritual experience. So I can only imagine, because I have not been in a Hopi kiva, that it would be quite similar. Thank you, Warrior Girl, saying that turquoise represents the Divine Mother. So this is coming from Warrior Girl, that when you wear turquoise, it means you are connected to, it's the umbilical cord, connected to Mother Earth. All right, so let me just talk about this 5th world that we're going into, because I watched the Hopi Prophecy on the History Channel. So I looked it up. Oh my gosh, it showed fire. It showed destruction. It showed, the massive waters coming to the earth. And they said on there that only 1/3 of the people on the earth are going to survive after this. So I can only say that fear sells. Fear is a strong drug. I'm going to put it that way. A very strong drug. Now, by nature, I tend to be very optimistic by nature. However, when this blue star beings come through, the things that they tell me are, they say that they answer to the same creator that we all do. So they want to make that loud and clear. They're not a god. They don't answer to another god. That there is this blend of this essence, this frequency that they draw upon as well. They've communicated to me that when they draw upon this knowledge, they're being asked by the creator to assist humanity on earth during this great time of change. So this is why they are coming. They were asked, they were guided to do that. Just like when they came to me and said, we're going to go through a major awakening period of consciousness. It will come in the form of the blue frequencies of knowledge. We need you to go to China. I went to China. Does this mean that they're extra special? I'm extra special? No. You all get these messages as well. You just may not always have the consciousness yet to bring this in. And maybe you just don't sit down for 3 weeks at a time to get quiet, light a candle, and just shut out the world to see if there's any guidance that's coming to you. That's the problem. If you're focused on all the material things you have to do that day, if you're focused on your goals, your dreams, desires of the next material thing you're doing that day, or technology, we have our phones and things. And I'm not saying there's anything against that, because the blue star beings say that it is part of consciousness. It is helping us to expand beyond the limitations of our mind. However, you too can get these messages. So I've been talking about prophecy. They've told me that the our inner prophetic ability. So they say it's an ability to have prophetic vision. It's not, it can be seen as a gift, but it's an ability that all of humanity has. And it's being activated by the blue light. So, but you do have to get quiet to get that information. So, hey, South Africa. It's always nice to see you tapping in from South Africa. Wonderful. Okay. That was my little soapbox moment when I'm always saying, please, I'm begging you, please, please, please meditate, meditate, meditate. Turn within, turn within, turn within. Listen, listen, listen. Okay. So let's talk about the fifth world, because this is the information that I've been getting, and this is happening rapidly. This isn't like, you're living in 1994 and you're waiting for 2012. We are here. We're standing in the doorway between the dark ages, and we're heading into the golden ages. But if you're thinking in terms of 25,000 years, that doorway could last a couple of hundred years, right? But we're right smack dab in the middle of it. So, okay, renewal. This is what the fifth world is all about, that we're about ready to enter into if this blue light prophecy is correct. Renewal, purification, and transformation. So the fifth world is told we will begin to return to our spiritual values. Okay? Can you relate to that? Can you feel that pull, that palpable pull towards a spiritual awakening, expansion? Or if you've been doing spiritual work for a long time, are you aware you can no longer hide your spiritual beliefs, ideas, opinions, your spiritual voice? Are you being called to share that more often? So even my son, who works in construction, and he called and goes, Mom, I'm having dreams like crazy. I'm feeling pulled to dramatically change my career. So I just told him, don't change anything just yet. We can feel the spiritual changes, but it doesn't always mean we have to make that change at the physical level. So it's happening so quickly. We just need to be discerning. All right. So number one, the prophecy about the fifth world. Renewal and purification. So in the fifth world is seen as a cleansing, purification, marks the end of this cycle, world cycle of imbalance, destruction, discord, and we are beginning a new era characterized by harmony, balance, and spiritual growth. So this is exactly the information I've been getting, that this chaotic time has the potential to be ending. Again, it could be several hundred years as I say this, and that peace upon the world is beginning. Number two, in the fifth world, unity and understanding. How many of us, we are no longer being able to function as an individual? We are moving towards unity consciousness. And when we are undergoing an extremely divided world right now, you can wonder, how's that going to happen? We don't have the consciousness to know how that's going to happen. We will, but we don't yet. But there's definitely a conscious knowledge that knows that it can happen with ease and effortlessness. And we need to stay tapped into that. There's an emphasis on unity amongst humanity, deeper understanding of how we are interweaved, interconnected, and that extends into relationships with humans, relationships with the natural world, relationships with the cosmic world. Now, we're just heading here in September to the fall equinox, which registration is open for that group reading right now. It's all about relationships. So I'm not surprised if this fifth world prophecy is starting to kind of infuse through. Number three, spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening and enlightenment, representing a return to traditional spiritual values where people recognize the importance of living in harmony with each other and on earth. Okay. I just went to dinner with my sister and brother-in-law and my two nephews, and my brother-in-law, they were talking about one of the things that's really important for their family is tradition. So we went over on Tuesday night for Tuesday taco night. So see, traditions can be simple like that, but it's this return to wholeness, return to unity, return to gathering, return to traditions. Number 4, wow, this is coming up big time with my students, and we've had several classes in the last couple of weeks about this. Guidance from spiritual beings. The blue star beings tell me all the time, we're going to really struggle if we do not connect in with spiritual guides, connect in with God or Jesus or Mary or Buddha or Shiva, whatever that guidance is that you can have trust and faith in. This part of the journey, it's not the next part, it's right where we are now, to start allowing yourself to be supported by the divine. So make a note of that. I'm giving myself permission. I'm going to allow myself to be supported. So every morning you can wake up and you can just tune into the divine. And a little quick story. I remember when I was it's 30 years ago, and I was really struggling to kind of figure out how this spiritual thing was going to work. And so I put on a list of 12 things I needed to get done that day. And at the bottom of the list was talk to Jesus, because I was going to see if I could talk to Jesus. Well, my day went horrible. Nothing. I got maybe one thing down on my list, but the next day I was meditating and I was frustrated that I couldn't get through my to-do list. And then I heard this voice that I know is Jesus say, you might want to try talking to Jesus at the top of your list next time. I was just like, well, of course. So this is what we're talking about. Before you get the dishes, before you put the clothes in the wash, before you make the beds, before you pick up the toys or take the dog for a walk, take a moment to talk to your spiritual beings. The prophecy mentions that there are going to be emergence of spiritual guides and spiritual leaders to help humanity navigate challenges and the opportunities of the new fifth world that is awakening. These guides may embody wisdom and teachings that are necessary for our collective growth. Okay, healing and restoration. Number 5 involves the healing wounds of the past and restoring the balances of the earth. So I talk about this a lot as well. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out, this happened to me and that happened to me. And I know I've worked with clients for a long time, and I've heard horrific things that I just didn't even think were possible that humans have done to other humans. But it's like we're moving into a time now where we're going to be able to resolve those issues in ways we couldn't do before, because we will have a more expanded view of consciousness. All right, respect of nature. We're starting to see that now, right? We're really starting to see nature. I can feel the trees in my yard are palpable. I've been noticing nature as palpable. Return to harmony, living in harmony with the natural psychic cycles and cosmic energies. So, in Congress, they're talking about, unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrials, that they now admit that that's true. So we're going to see a lot more of that. Cultural revival. I love this one, the revival of traditional cultural practices. So what is a traditional practice that you have? If you have a traditional practice that you do on a regular basis, I would love to have you post about it in the comments section. Or can you think of a traditional practice that you want to bring out of the attic, out of the box, dust it off, and start it again? And then number 9, higher states of consciousness. Suddenly, and this is happening right now, people are becoming attuned to spiritual truth and your interconnectedness to nature. So one of the ways that can help with that is that you say, what is my nature? What is my nature? So often people will hear me say, my nature is kindness. That's been my nature from my very first memories, is that I place a high value on kindness and I embody kindness. And so what is your nature? What is your nature? And then number 10, overcoming challenges. The 5th world is associated with positive changes. So instead of challenges, this doesn't mean that there's an absence of challenges. So I see the COVID pandemic, and I will probably be one of the only people in billions of people that believe this. So don't hang your hat on my beliefs, but I believe that COVID came from the stars. I believe that they were downloads of light codes, and I believe that the purpose is to be another aspect of activating consciousness. And so what I mean by this is we had a blue light surge in November 2019, COVID followed. We had another surge in 2021. COVID followed again as a different variance. And then now we have another variance that's coming, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be, as dangerous as the first two, but it's like, wow, how, is that a coincidence? So it was a challenge. It was a challenge to the physical body, but it was an awakening to the spiritual body. So again, it doesn't mean that you won't have challenges. And then overall, the Hopi prophecy is of hope and renewal. So the Blue Star Kachina is a significant figure, and it's associated with the blue star. So the blue star is the dog star, and this is the planet Sirius. These are the Sirians. If you are Sirian starseed, or you may be Pleiadian starseed, and from what they have told me, the Pleiadians and Sirians move together and share the same planet, that the Pleiadians may have gone under a battle. I don't know. All this sounds fantastical, but it feels true, if I can put it that way. It feels intuitively true. All right. So the Blue Star Kachina are the gifts. It's also the return. When it returns, says that we have entered into the 5th world. The Blue Star Kachina is the symbol of change. So the final thing is I kind of wrap this up, and when the blue star makes its appearance on the earth, this is when we will shift in a big way. There's kind of this liquefying blue that will go through the earth, and we will shift in a big way, stepping into the 5th world of renewal, purification, enlightenment, balance, and harmony. So is November, is this time in 2 months away? Is this the time that they speak about where the blue is coming to the earth? I don't know, but I find it really interesting that the blue star beings talked about the 3rd final one would be in the southwest of the United States. They specifically told me Hopi Land. It took them 3 years to come up with that information. It isn't just like they just told me. They said it will be revealed, it will be revealed. And then they said Hopi Land, the 3 mesas. And then there we go. So we're going to do a little bit of a meditation. And as I'm kind of setting up the meditation, if you have any questions that you want to post in the comment section, I will, to the best of my ability, answer those. So I will just talk about the events. There's 3 mesas, so you can read about it in the Orion zone. that talks about the ancient indigenous prophecies of the Hopi people and the Blue Star Kachina. So it's in that book. And these mesas are 50 miles apart from each other. So this is a great distance. This is an enormous mesa alignment with Orion's belt. So it's not going to be like it was in Xi'an, China, where the pyramids are closer together. You know, you've got the Cairo pyramids close together. We have Mexico, those pyramids are close together. In the Southwest, they are 50 miles apart. So there's going to be 3 surges this time, where the last 2 was one single surge. And so I always imagine like this spotlight on Mesa. Number 1 is going to come through at the beginning of November, and then the blue spotlight will come through number 2 around mid-November, and then number 3 at the end of November. And we will do some big events right then, because when I'm told it is the single biggest expansion, awakening that is happening on the earth in thousands of years, I listen. I pay attention to that. But you want to always get your own information. And if you just can't go there, that's totally okay, because the blue beings of light just tell me everyone will go through a consciousness awakening on some level, some dimension, and you will know when you know, and it will shift humanity. And it could just be sitting at Starbucks, sharing a cup of coffee with a friend, and you may not even notice the shift, but suddenly you get up and you just see the world differently. So that's what I believe. All right, so let's just do a meditation with the blue light, okay? And go ahead and close your eyes. And turn within. And see if you can sense and feel the blue frequency. Can you hear the blue frequency? Maybe you can see the blue frequency, or you just know the blue frequency is there. As I am looking out into YouTube land and Facebook land, I can see blue at the core of the chakras. I haven't seen that before, so it's pretty cool. Blue at the inside of your chakras. So ask your spirit to really assist you into grounding this blue light. So go ahead and just call in the blue light, this column of light, into the room where you are, and invite it to gently flow, because remember, the blue light is very associated with the galactic core, which is a timeless, spaceless, still point. So just allow that beautiful stillness. I call it the empty space that contains the knowledge of everything. The empty space that contains the knowledge of everything. And allow it to flow through the top of your aura, the top of your head. Let it flow, if you're familiar with chakras, right in through all your chakras, your shoulders, arms, hands. If you're not familiar with any of this or chakras, no worries. You can still allow yourself to have the spiritual support. Ooh, coming right down through your face, that blue right into your throat and your chest. Past your diaphragm, upper belly, lower belly, hips, legs. Allow the blue to flow down on either side of you through your aura as well, and then allow all of it to move past your feet, past the bottom of your aura, down to the center of the earth, and allow that celestial blue cosmic light to connect in with the blue crystals at the center of the earth. And now let's just take a moment to tap into the consciousness of the Blue Star Kachina, but first and foremost, ask permission, come in total respect and reverence. And you may have the blue beings of light come into the room where you are. Some of you may have a vision of the Blue Star Kachina, but we're going to be intentional. We're just tuning in to the frequency of the knowledge that comes to herald in this time of shifting into the fifth world. And then just let it just lightly infuse you at your comfort level, and see and sense if you might have an awareness of consciousness around it. I'm hearing many of the blue beings of light. I hear them saying, thank you for listening, thank you for listening, thank you for listening. So see if you can tap in to feel their gratitude. Tune in and see if there is a lasting message for you to bring back into the space that you're in when you open your eyes. So just check in. Is there any message to carry forward throughout your day from them or from the blue light? And whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Thank them for their presence. Thank the blue light for its presence. Stretch your body, look around your room. Remind yourself of today's date and your current age. Beautiful. One of the message was, don't be afraid. Roxanne was asking, is the golden years in 300 years? I can't answer a question like that because I don't know. I don't know. I just know that we're in the doorway. That's what they always tell me. We're standing in the threshold. So that's all that I know. Someone on Facebook is saying they have a lot of dreams, seeing ticker tapes of words, symbols going by. Pay attention to your dream world, your meditation world, because we are getting a lot of messages. So start writing them down. They're saying it comes too fast. Sometimes they don't get it. Just ask it to slow down. Say, I'm human. I can't digest that much information that quickly. Can you slow down the ticker tape, please? And that will happen. Another blue light person saying that the blue light is water in celestial form. Absolutely. And I'll hopefully be talking about that a bit more, but it's big. Water, the aspect, the divinity of water is a big one. Eric saying his message was breathe and believe. Jennifer saying stand in your truth. Shelley saying the word was allow. So there's a lot of information coming through. So I just want to say that if this truly is the biggest shift in humanity and on earth and in the universe at this time, you may want to devote your time on being very spiritually involved with a daily practice, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes a day. Daily practice, make it a priority. Remember, put it at the top of the list. We are having the fall equinox. It is a group opportunity to come together and shift energy, shift out blocks to allow more of the flow. There's that word allow. So that is coming up towards the end of September. In November, there's going to be, I think I counted like 12 virtual events that we're going to have. That we're going to be sharing as a bundle, or you can purchase in pieces, where I'm going to be teaching a lot, but we're going to be doing little bits throughout as we lead up to this. So yeah, so it's gonna be good. So someone was saying Aztec dancers. Yeah, like Roxanne. Yeah, it just doesn't matter how long it takes, right? Janice saying, be yourself. Beautiful. All right, everyone. This is our time together. We do have another scheduled time together in a month, but I hope to pop on. This is super, super busy time as loads of information are coming in. I will tell you the blue beings of light are coming to the earth by the thousands. So I know that we're not the only ones that they're talking to. So everybody out there, billions of people, not to be surprised, to be awakening to the truth of the blue light. All right, take care, everyone. Please stay involved, and let's help weave our unity consciousness together. Take care. Bye-bye.